Oh, dear Jesus. Please put on a mask.
Oh, no.
For thy breath blows far away, Jesus.
Amen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Splayed. Welcome to Splayed. We have a new guest on the show this week. His name is Nate.
Heyo.
Nate G. I'm sorry. This is my first time with a guest. I forgot the part where you don't talk over the guest.
I don't talk over you. That'll be the problem.
Nate, he's renowned worldwide for his exploits in the southwestern regions of Atlantis. Nate, guys. So Nate, we brought you here on the show today.
Yep.
To steal your powers.
I feel it just being ripped out of my soul right now.
Yeah. Adam, would you please execute succubus.exe?
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
Go over to the keyboard.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I guess you're saved, Nate.
All right,
Adam,
good. For now.
Okay, so today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, is conspiracies and the theories that surround them. We brought an expert on conspiracy theories. And we're just going to shut up and let you talk.
Okay, great. Well, let me tell you one thing. I don't know shit.
Take it away, Nate. But the first thing that I honestly wanted to talk about today was the moon landing.
Ooh, that's a good conspiracy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moon landing.
Yeah.
Moon landing.
Okay.
But second, I wanted to talk about that second because the first thing that I wanted to talk about today was the 9/11 attacks.
Ooh. All right. We're close to September 11th. We just celebrated the anniversary of it. What was that?
Yeah. I see Adam's face getting squeamish. Is this too close to home?
Like,
I mean,
not really.
Not close to home, but is it too hard of a topic? Heavy of a topic?
They're.
What's your problem?
I don't know.
Let's start off with what's conspiracy and what's not.
Oh, yeah,
How about that?
I like...
Hey.
I love when you say words.
I love it when you say words. Okay, right off the bat. All right, Building 7. Why did Building 7 come down? You guys know about Building 7?
I'm so excited.
What? You said let's talk about 9/11.
Yeah.
So in the government's official release, I don't remember what the title of the book was, but they did an official, investigation, and they never mentioned Trade Center 7, and that came down supposedly due to fire, if I recall correctly. But a lot of people believe that's BS, that there's no way that would have been taken out by just fire.
An office fire.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in an office, Nate?
Absolutely. Work in an office, not a high-rise office.
Have you ever looked around in an office?
Second story, so.
Yeah.
You just want to get out.
Well, what I'm saying is, at least nowadays, and maybe this wasn't true of this office building, but they tend to have
years ago,
high ceilings.
Absolutely.
And a lot of concrete and steel.
Yes.
Right?
Massive amounts of concrete and steel in
Tons
those buildings.
of concrete and steel.
Especially in the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
They were designed to withstand a plane impact.
Right.
In fact, they actually survived a plane impact back in the 80s. Did you know that?
Also another bombing attempt.
And a bombing attempt. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much I want to go into here. But I want to slow down for just a moment and okay. Office furniture. I don't know if you have ever looked at the amount of office furniture in office buildings, Nate.
Okay.
You do this, right? Don't you do this, actually? You do this, right?
I am a construction cost estimator, yeah. I look at floor plans all day.
Yeah. You might know a thing or two. Yeah, dude. They're I don't know. Okay. The offices that I've been, at least, they're relatively open, a lot of space, concrete and steel everywhere.
Yeah.
And fire suppression systems, importantly.
Absolutely.
How does an office furniture fire get hot enough to budge a steel beam off of its concrete support post?
I don't think it can. That's my honest opinion.
That is and then
I think the majority of where the heat came from was the gasoline fuel from the planes, right? And so obviously, I guess the main towers, that's your explanation there.
That's your explanation.
As far as World Trade Center 7, what you're saying is the furniture supposedly was...
The furniture
and paperwork
that caught fire
was hot enough to take it down. Yeah.
The furniture that importantly caught fire because of debris from one of the other buildings fell,
And this
managed
is
to
a-
fly sideways through the window.
This is like a block away. World Trade Center 7 is not close by.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I didn't even realize that. It's a block away.
It may not be a full block, but it's a pretty good distance. I mean, there's some range between where the Twin Towers were and where World Trade Center 7 was, yeah.
So debris flies a block away.
Yeah.
It retains through the atmosphere enough heat to penetrate the window and ignite the
Light a
office
fire.
furniture, which somehow then gets hot enough to push
Yeah.
a steel beam off of a concrete post, and this somehow manages to cause a catastrophic
Yes.
Concubine.
successive failure with all the other support beams falling, resulting in a near simultaneous collapse of all pillars, causing
Right.
the building to implode within 7 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy it.
The thing is, I want to argue here, but I want to argue.
Okay.
Someone argue against this. Adam,
Your take. Yeah, what do you got on this?
Transformers.
Transformers. He's on.
Transformers.
Yep. Okay.
Michael Bay came to town.
Yep.
Saw it.
Okay.
Walked in the building. We're filming a movie over here.
We're going to film a movie, everyone. Just go about your business.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen.
But the ironic thing about it is that if you go visit the memorial, have you been?
No, I wish.
I got to go this last
Really?
year,
That's awesome.
and there's this incredibly. I mean, it was raining too, so I mean, it was pouring rain. It was just this incredibly sobering feeling there because it's just
Yeah.
drenching rain, and you're in this the monuments are just sort of dark and ominous. It's water that just flows into like a bottomless pit. From your perspective, it looks bottomless. It just looks like this water flowing into darkness, not into light, not into heaven, not into peace, but into darkness, into the abyss. Right?
Very depressing.
Very depressing
Yeah.
feeling. And you go there, and then you gaze maybe about 100 meters away is the entryway to a massive underground shopping mall that they have built underneath this monument
Interesting.
to make sure that they monetize.
Yeah. Because that's what everything's about these days. You got to
Yeah.
monetize everything.
So you can go mourn 3,000 victims and then get your Gucci.
Yeah. Get your Gucci
Purse.
handbag.
Handbag.
Say,
Staying in bad taste.
with a sticker that says, I love New York.
I love New York, right?
I survived my trip to New York.
I survived
Yeah.
my. Wow, I want to hold that for a moment. That was because what you just said
Yeah.
summed up everything about that whole experience.
Whole experience right there.
Like, cause it's just a tourist sticker. I survived it's a tourism
Yeah.
attraction.
At this junction, probably. But, you're going to get the people that are like, we're always going to just, keep fighting the fight. Even after you're destroyed your enemy
Sure.
and you said you won,
Yeah.
it's going to continue the fight against anyone else that says otherwise, right? So,
Let's just take a moment.
yeah.
Nate,
Rusty.
Adam, everyone just breathe.
Good.
Why did we go into Iraq?
Oil.
Supposedly for the 9/11 towers, right? Supposedly. But I agree with Adam. I think it was an oil war. A pipeline being built.
Why did we go to Iraq?
Money, money, money.
Okay. I don't want to actually go into that too much because that's not. Well, okay.
I do.
Although,
I mean-
isn't Iraq also known for its opium fields?
Was it?
Or is that Afghanistan?
No, that I understand it.
But wasn't Osama known to be in Afghanistan, even though he was in that? What is it? He was in the neighboring country.
Yeah.
Which is escaping my mind right now. Where was he? Where was he found?
Turkey? No, he was in Pakistan.
Pakistan. That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was actually in Pakistan,
Yeah.
living in a spot. But
You mean a hole in the ground?
yeah.
Well, so his compound that he was in was just like a 2-story house. And he, we had the intelligence and we went in there, got him. And the report says he had a computer with emulators on it. And he was playing like Street Fighter
What?
and other arcade games.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
that's funny. Wow.
No, are you kidding me?
No, the report actually says that they found emulators on his computer.
Holy crap. So he's a
What?
gamer. He was a gamer.
Here's okay.
Yeah.
I have a lot to talk about here, so I'm gonna pull it back for just a moment because I want to talk about that. I want to talk about
right.
Bin Laden.
Yeah.
I want to talk about conspiracy theory complexity theory.
I think, yeah.
We're going to theorize.
And we're going to theorize about the complexity of executing a conspiracy theory.
Sure. Okay.
Because I believe that it is akin to the complexity of running an organization in terms of communication cost.
Yeah.
Communication cost.
Sure.
If we have 3 people, by the way, this is the first time we've had 3 people on the show. We're now having to balance.
Sure. Conversation time. Oh, yeah.
See, this is me attempting to balance the conversation because I tend to speak.
We could go all sorts of directions really fast. That's
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. And it's easy for one person to dominate or take too much time.
As you point to me.
Adam,
He pointed to himself next. But, you know,
or the guest.
guy won't shut up.
Communication is difficult to manage.
Yeah. Can be. That's true.
So,
The narrative straight.
yeah.
Sure, yeah. Keep on point.
So the number of people that have to be involved in a conspiracy is a key, I think, for determining whether or not there's validity to it, right? Because you get to a point where it is theoretically impossible to maintain, right?
Sure.
So the question is, when you're evaluating a conspiracy, if you can find a pathway by which the conspiracy could have been executed with only a handful of people, then I think that there's possibly some credibility to it.
Sure.
And I want to talk about that, contrasting the moon landing conspiracy with
sure.
9/11.
Sure.
Okay, so contrasting both of those. Okay.
So I've done some numbers in my head of what it would take to do the 9/11 attack. And Nate, I wanted to hear from you.
You'd have to be pretty organized, and I kind of agree with your thought on that. That you'd have to have a collective group essentially to successfully carry out something of that magnitude. I think you could probably pull it off with a couple hundred people, honestly, at that time.
So here's the thing:
nowadays security and even online security has been way tightened up.
a couple hundred people means that you have a couple hundred times a couple hundred, because the
Sure,
communication law is
cooperation
exponential
within groups that have groups that's outside of them that they're managing. Yeah, I understand what you're getting at.
I believe anything over 100 is impossible. In fact, it might even be as low as 20 or 30.
Okay.
Is basically impossible to execute.
Because then you get too much individual thought and decision on the matter or thing at hand that you're going after. What do you think is the limitation, or what's the limitation?
I think 10 is practical. I think 20 is you're going to have some highly skilled people, and I think 100 is in software. They talk about this with development teams, with like managing the number of people that can work together on a microservice,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Or quote unquote microservice on a service.
Yeah.
They've basically, you can see this. There's examples of this. The team size breaks down about 20, right? And 100 is like considered the max theoretical. And after that, your team can't communicate. You can't get work done anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
maintaining a conspiracy above that, I think, is impossible. So,
All right.
you say a couple hundred people.
Maybe I'm off of my guesstimation.
No, you're fine. But I'm wondering.
Yeah. I
think
don't know.
about, think about what you needed, right? We had what? We had 5 out of how many?
I mean, yeah, it'd be a pyramid, right? You'd have to have someone at the top pulling the strings, essentially, and then that would have to trickle down successfully into your
hit on
groups,
Exactly.
So
Say it again, please.
it's top-down theory, baby.
Ignorance. You can have a legion of zombies.
Absolutely. We already see it around us, I would say.
Wait. Yeah.
If you got a legion of zombies that are all conspiracy theories, you got to have them into each individual groups too, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're going to have zombie group A, zombie group B,
yes.
Group 3.
Yes.
Only vegetables.
Yeah, but you got to be careful with the vegetable group.
Yeah.
Because
they're limited.
Sometimes you give them tomatoes and they get pissed.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
Then, but it's keeping the organization of your groups contained enough to where you can.
They all have to believe, I think, that they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They don't. Each
Yeah,
one is
you'd have to
committing their own
convince somebody
crime.
that they're doing their own. What do you want to call it?
Right.
Conception.
So, for example, if
Yeah.
you want to get someone a visa, maybe you send out a donation to the dean of a school or something that gets them a student visa. I can't remember, was it student visas that they came in on, or what? How did they get into
Yeah,
in the
that's
country?
something like it was. I think it was a student visa or something like that.
Maybe it wasn't, but whatever. Or you get a business to give them a work visa, right? A lot of times, all that requires is a donation,
Sure.
a bribe.
Yeah.
But that is a isolated crime. That person has to have no knowledge of the greater crime.
Right.
He can be completely ignorant.
Sure. He's just accepting that.
That donation.
Yeah, to give a visa out. He
To
doesn't
give a visa
know
out.
necessarily where that's going.
Right. And the interesting thing is you might have him in a position where he's not going to want to talk about it.
Yeah.
If
He doesn't need to talk.
if something goes wrong, yeah, he doesn't necessarily want to indicate that he accepted a donation or a bribe to give them a visa, because then he's potentially criminally liable, or at least
Right.
at least from a reputation standpoint, he's tarnished or looks bad or whatever. So you have someone who now took what they thought was a small crime
Right.
And made it.
And made it bigger.
and then it became a big crime.
Yeah.
And then they didn't understand what they had their hands in, and now they are silenced because they don't want to be caught by the small crime.
Right. There was a show me and Lex watched not that long ago, and it was on Netflix or something. And I wish I remembered the name of it, but it was basically this guy masterminded a scene of such, and he convinced people to either like get away with murder or accomplice murder. And not that it was, it was a whole setup scheme, but it was actually a really interesting show for that matter. He actually takes people, puts them in certain scenarios, and organizes a group to make a certain scene happen, and then that individual accidentally gets like killed, or was in like some mafia dealing, and so the mafia guy shows up and like needs help pushing the person off the side of the building. Like, we got to silence this guy, and it was like the statistics were probably, it was 90% of the people that they put through that in their show committed the murder or accomplished murder or accomplice.
They were able to get
They were
them
actually able to get
to-
these innocent people, what you would think are innocent people, into a sticky situation with just a small, like you said, a small misstep, and then it was
Right.
just like you're like drawing a line in the sand.
Yeah.
And if you
See,
keep crossing that line, you can lead yourself into a murder scenario. Yeah.
That's
It was a really
exactly
interesting
it.
show.
They make one moral slip up
Yes,
that's maybe minor,
and then
but then they're hooked.
It's a trickle effect. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's like a-
exponentially starts to grow, and all of a sudden they're entangled in this hot mess that they don't know what to do with.
I mean, I'd probably be the wrench in that cog system. Like, if they're trying to set
Right.
me up,
Right.
they're like, "Oh no, this guy got hit by this car." I just look at him like, "Okay, and what's it gonna do with me?"
Yeah.
Push this guy.
Yeah, that's the, you
Yeah.
have to have no moral. If you have no morals, then you're immune.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you got to push this guy off the ledge, and even before they start,
Yeah.
finish their sentence, I'm over there kicking them off.
Yeah. Wait, now.
What's next?
What's next?
Yeah. Did you say money was involved?
Money, right?
Yeah.
I'm over there counting.
Oh God.
You just killed an actor.
Right.
What they don't tell you is the other 10% just willingly just walked up
There
and
were
stabbed the-
no. It was actually the other 10% had the moral conscience
Yeah.
early on enough, or
They caught
even
it,
at
yeah.
the main scene, they were like, no, I ain't doing that. I'm
They-
not being part of that. I don't care
There's-
what I've done wrong. I'll own up to what I've done wrong, but I'm not doing that.
There's something about there's the scene, the movie Shoot. It's there in hell in California. Hell's coming up. It's got
God.
Seth Rogen in it.
Yeah.
What's the name of the movie?
I can't remember the name of the movie.
The other guy, he's having a fight. He's trying to dig his way into the basement to get water because hell is basically started on Earth. and his friend is like not helping him and like walks away mad. He's like, "Come back and help me." And his friend's like, "I've already walked away too far." But that's true. Like once you're down a road, it's
That's it.
hard
Yeah.
to stop and you don't want to backtrack.
Yeah.
And so even if you think like, it's like, okay, you got a 50-50 chance to make a decision. In your mind, you think this is the right decision or that's the right decision. You go down one road a little bit.
Sure.
And
you kind of commit to that road.
now you start to think that maybe there's a 60% chance that the other decision was right.
Sure.
But that means you have to backtrack to get to it. So
Yeah.
even though now the path that you're on looks less likely to be correct, you continue.
Sure.
And then it becomes 30% chance that the one you're on is correct, right? But you've gone even further, right?
And then you're just getting even more engulfed.
Yeah. There's something about someone who at the very last minute, after they've gotten all these like missteps, these little like, right? To be able at the last minute to pull out is pretty impressive, though. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that's more of a politician's kind of thing. It's like I was right all the time, you know? It doesn't matter what choice I made. Mistakes were made. Doesn't matter. We're moving on.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, is are they wrong?
Oh, yeah, they could be wrong.
No, but are they wrong?
To them?
Morally wrong. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, to
I
them,
think all
no.
politicians are morally wrong.
Well, to them.
To themselves.
Oh, well, that's a whole different story.
Right? Because like because Trump will never, and I'm not saying this to be important here. I'm trying to be neutral here. This is both a trait and a curse depending on your perspective, right? Trump will never admit to being wrong.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to show weakness.
Right.
Yeah.
And is he wrong for doing that?
In his eyes, no.
Yeah.
And everyone else's, it's like, well, you screwed up, you know?
Yeah,
You're messing up
You're
our
not
lives.
on point, man. That's what people
But
are
if
trying
you
to
show weakness, here's the thing: is if you are doing something in the country's best interest, right? And that's the problem, right? There's this greater good, right? Are you really doing it in someone's best interest? But
Trump's an interesting topic for that reason.
yeah, if you are doing something in the country's best interest, you almost owe it to them, owe it to the country to succeed. And part of that means not showing weakness, because if you show weakness,
Yeah. You're right.
you lose power. If you lose power, you can't accomplish your goal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's an interesting.
Absolutely. I do wonder why, he's supposedly this multi-billion-dollar guy. Is he just that narcissistic and power hungry that he's like, what else can I do in my life? I've already got millions of dollars and all these buildings and whatever the hell else, I know I'll run for president. And then he gets up on stage and I'm for the American people, I'm going to make America great again, all this stuff. And you really wonder what is that? What was his initial interest in wanting to become president? Was it self-narcissistic driven for power? Or was he truly trying to help? He didn't need money by any means. I think most people get into politics for money.
No, he did need money because there was a whole thing about him.
That's very well true, right?
He just lies about his numbers.
Yeah, that's very well true.
I have this belief that in order to do anything in life, you have to do everything.
Okay.
Trump ran for president because he had the idea.
Sure.
Period.
Sure.
So
That's an idea.
that's how he makes and that's why he's successful. He sees an opportunity,
Yeah.
and he takes it.
Mm-hmm.
You get an idea and you do it. That's what successful people do.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I think that's why Trump ran. He had the idea, I could run for president. I'm going to do it. And what I mean by that is, if he always does that, it's like everything feeds back in on each other, on itself, right? When it comes to success, everything that you do connects to everything else that you do and can make, in order to be successful at any of those things, you had to do all of them, sort of a thing, right?
Sure.
So, in other words, if he runs for president, that could potentially feed publicity or, right? It can feed into his brand. It's going to give him success somehow. He doesn't understand how necessarily.
Yeah, because his name is out there.
Yeah.
I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It's instinctive. It's just, hey, I could run for president.
But you and I couldn't, I'm going to run for president. I don't got millions of dollars to get my name out there and advertised and on the ballots. You know what I mean? I don't stand a chance in politics.
In fairness, is the reason...
I don't want to either. Don't take me wrong.
Is the reason that you don't have millions of dollars... I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Go ahead.
Because you're not running for president.
Could be. I don't know. You tell me, man.
What I'm saying is...
Chase what you want. Sure.
I'm chasing
but I wouldn't
everything.
I wouldn't run for presidency. I'd be racing cars out on tracks and stuff. Gran Turismo style.
You should be doing that.
Well, it's a work in progress, man.
Yeah. That's pretty sick, dude. That's really cool.
I want to build my own car and stuff.
Dude,
I
that's so
think that'd
cool.
be really fun. I want to get me and Dean to be mechanic heads, Mm-hmm. That'd be fun.
Fast and Furious?
Pretty much. Almost. Build a car, race it. Not as cheesy as Fast Furious, but
No.
I think it'd be fun to do professional track racing. I almost signed up for like their Larry Miller. They have a driver's course. I don't know if they offer it anymore. I don't even think it's Larry Miller land anymore, is it? That racetrack out in Twilla, do you guys know?
I think it closed down or something.
Yeah, I
don't
think it's
know.
gone. Anyway, they offered like professional driving classes. You know, if you dropped like
Dude.
$5,000 and they would shove you in one of their Mustangs and let you go around. Anyway, we're getting far off topic anyway.
It's okay. I'm jealous, dude. What, Adam?
Oh, no, just I have family that does demolition derby, so
Are you
that's fun.
serious?
Yeah. Lex does too down south.
Are you serious?
Yeah. When we were first together, we went to a couple of them. It was pretty funny. Some dirt races. That was funny.
I'm jealous of both of you guys, dude. So racing is one thing that's really cool. Like you know what I mean? Like I can't. I studied to be a pilot, and I had to pull out because I just like I grip too tight. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. Yeah, so racing, I'd probably tweak it into the wall or something. You know? Yeah.
and go.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
There's Rusty.
Rusty's in the lead. He's doing 360,
He's doing 360s.
doing the ankle grab.
He's standing on the hood of the car.
He's going to climb to that wall 60 miles an hour. But he's dancing right now.
Right into the bleach.
Right into the bleachers. Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared to catch him. He's coming in hot.
So yeah, anyway, sorry, that's a little off topic, I guess.
It's on point, dude. Okay, wait, where were we? So anyway, okay,
Yes.
we talked about cells, independent corruption cells. We talked about the breadcrumb trail or whatever, right? Like the the steps. All these things are powerful tools for a conspiracy theory.
Sure.
Because it reduces the communication cost.
Sure.
You can get people visas without involving a single other soul.
Yeah.
You just send a check, you've got visas to people.
Mm-hmm.
You can, and then once they have student visas, right? Here's the thing: is you need a group of people who do want to do this. You need a group of people who want to attack America.
Sure.
Right? So if you were to commit a conspiracy theory, you have to get them to want to do it for their own means, right? And
Sure.
again, this reduces your
There
head
has to be
count.
motivation, because
Yeah,
you're
because
convincing them that this is what they're
they
chasing,
wanna
what
do.
they
Well,
want to do.
exactly.
Motives, they have their own means.
Yes.
Right. So then you're manipulating them to achieve a higher goal.
Yeah.
But they're not in direct.
So there's a higher conspiracy and like a lower conspiracy,
Sure.
right? And so they think they're perpetuating the conspiracy,
Yeah.
but really they're a cog in a larger wheel.
Massive.
Yeah. And
That's all it is.
yeah. So you get a couple of youths that are malcontented. They are disillusioned. They don't like America, and whatever. They don't have a future. We talked about this last week on the show. I think it was last week, maybe the week before. How a lot of young men, even in our culture, don't have a obvious future.
Sure.
Well, there's no
Sure.
great purpose.
There's no great war. It's the Fight Club thing.
Yeah.
The same way that he was able to get all of them to join his Fight Club.
Right.
Is because they didn't really feel that they had any great war, any great purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You get young men like that, and if you give them an opportunity to be a hero,
Yeah.
a lot of them will take that opportunity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To be a hero in their own little cell's eyes. But yeah,
Yeah.
it happens a lot. Like if you do a little scenario with senators, like the senator goes to a barbecue, and this guy who owns like a missile testing range, right? He comes up, he's like, "Now I heard you want to build a bunch of like inner city youth groups, you know?"
Right.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." And he's like, "Well, I got this new missile that I can shoot out, and it'll just destroy everything, but it's not approved yet. I want to get it approved."
Yeah.
And I just so happen to have this big briefcase of money
Yeah. So if you could
You
just
know-
push this along.
for the exact amount for your inner city youth.
Right.
You can take this and maybe
Yeah.
a little bit extra for yourself and
Exactly.
just go ahead and okay my missile. You know,
That's why lobbying in politics should be banned
yeah,
for that reason right there.
Yeah.
corporate.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
get corporate interest running politics, which is, I think, the case today, honestly.
And media too. You have too much advertising dollars in
absolutely.
media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Media. So if a person, let's say we stripped out everything of like corporate interference, interference in all politicians. They just come out and say, I want to be president. So you have 4 candidates.
Yeah.
But they don't have any backing. There's no public or private, any type of money for them. They're just poor people.
Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah. They're like, hey, I just want to make things better. They actually have the want to do that.
Yeah, true. You might actually meet some great men that way, actually, right? If you're aspiring to be that big,
Yeah.
maybe you've got some good ideas. I don't know.
So we just silence the noise. How about that?
Yeah, silence the noise and let the smaller people have a voice. Sure.
How small? How small of a person should you give a voice to?
Well,
Like
not
me.
a homeless guy
Like you.
downtown. I don't
Yeah,
think that'd be a good idea
No.
necessarily. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
Do it like the whole...
Maybe. Depends on what
maybe.
they've been through.
No, I want you guys fight.
Okay.
Yeah, go. How many drugs are they on?
Methadone.
They're on meth and they're doing pills and they're smoking.
The guy, he's like,
Yeah, right.
You know that Madonna, she did the thing with the thing. Like, yeah.
Gotcha.
And I'm king of the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. I'm Poseidon.
Poseidon.
Yes, I've seen your posters. No more will we have to suffer with the lack of brown napkins anymore.
Yeah.
I'm fucking voting for Poseidon, guys. I really like Poseidon.
All right.
Just make up superheroes to run.
Yes.
Guys, I don't know who to vote for, by the way.
I don't even know if I'm going to vote.
I don't even know what the fuck. This would be the first election that I don't know.
I just
You have on the.
I've
you
never
have-
been huge into politics. I mean,
That's fair.
more now that I have kids and a family. I think that kind of caught my interest more because I want to know more what's going on in the world. But
You have Trump, and we all know him.
yep.
We all know him.
I don't know if he's dangerous. I'm concerned about all of the Russia stuff. I don't know how much. I mean, we can do another whole conspiracy theory section on that.
Absolutely.
But and maybe we'll touch it a little bit. But anyway, so there's that, which is a concern. And there's some of the racially or sexually charged stuff that he's done, and that's a concern. But then you have Biden, and he has indicated that he would have promoted a mask mandate. So we're going to talk about masks. I'm sorry. Are you guys okay if we talk about masks?
That's fine with me.
I'm not going to ask you to express your opinions. I'm going to express mine.
Go, you do. Opinion. You get on that stage.
That's okay. I think I'm with you on your mask.
A mask
Thing.
mandate is my concern.
It almost is that way. You can't go to any store without wearing it.
It is because if you
know?
mandate it in the grocery stores, then you've mandated it in the populace.
Basically, yeah.
I have an issue with a mandate.
I kind of agree with that. It's unconstitutional.
Yeah. There's been a loophole cut out for the health organization, and I don't know how quickly we will be able to fill it or ever, especially while people are afraid.
Yeah.
They basically granted a blank check to the government to take your rights away as long as it's for a quote-unquote health emergency.
Sure.
Quote unquote.
Right.
Right? So it's like a bypass. It's like I get to bypass all of the Constitution if I can somehow associate it to a health risk. Especially when you have scientists who are forgetting things,
Yeah.
like the difference between the infection fatality rate and the case fatality rate. Whoops.
Oop. Slipped a
And then
digit.
expressing that in their testimony to Congress. And then when you have media organizations censoring doctors who are coming out and contesting and
Right.
saying, hey,
Yeah.
you messed up.
Yeah.
The case fatality rate is not the same as the infection fatality rate.
Right.
You done messed up, and then they get censored, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in other words, the point I'm trying to make is you can falsify the magnitude of a health crisis pretty easily, apparently. And if you falsify the magnitude of the health crisis, it's a blank check to take people's rights away. And that's concerning to me.
I would agree.
Okay. So anyway, I don't know who to vote for because Biden seems...
That's the best they can do. That's the best the Democrats have to offer. I don't know. That's the problem every year, I think. Is
Right.
There's not enough options to choose from. You pick one or the other. It's kind of like the lesser of two evils, right?
Right.
I picked this guy because I think he'll do better. I don't know. He kind of sucks anyway, but I think that's what happened with Trump. Trump versus Hillary, everybody's kind of like, who's the lesser of the two evils here? Yeah, because it's kind of all that's spotlighted. Here's your choices, America. Go, and
Yeah.
You guys know who George Carlin is, right? Like, I kind of agree with his views. You don't really have a choice. They're kind of bought and paid for, and it's
That's
just gonna,
really
you know,
You're
like
choosing a platform.
they're all
and
kind of,
just
you know, it's the cows like having a choice. You know, they have right or left, and both merge and lead to the slaughterhouse. You know, it's like your choice really wasn't there to begin with, was it?
Is that? Do they do that? Do they give the cows a choice?
No, it's just like
Because
a
that
meme.
would be
It's
really
like a meme.
interesting thing.
No, it's like
So,
a meme.
What do you want to choose here?
Yeah.
I was like,
What's on door number right?
why I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Debating. door number right has a certain.
Let's see.
It's the economic structure and the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like super smart.
The gap between
Yeah.
the wealthy and the poor.
Well, they all have the Neuralinks now, so.
Yeah.
To the rescue.
Yep. We're now giving cows a choice with our new
What
Neuralink.
is that going to do
I don't know.
in terms of like someone? I've heard this recently of people actually talking about like pills to make you less socially independent, I guess.
What?
Yeah. To like quell your social disobedience, right? Impulses.
Oh man.
Imagine
okay.
if you had a Neuralink. What kind of subroutines could they
Sure.
slip in there?
Sure. Right.
Sorry, I just had the whole image of RoboCop again. Where
Exactly.
It's like, Directive 1,
Yeah.
go to work. Directive 2, sit
Yeah.
at the desk.
Yeah.
Directive 3, classified. I
Classified.
wonder what that means.
Yeah.
And you heard like the Starburst jingle by Starburst.
Yes. Yeah. You just subconsciously implant into your head. You need to go buy this.
And yet, if you don't Neuralink, you're going to be obsolete.
Eventually.
It's just, I mean, it's like the internet today. The
Yeah.
internet is swarming you with isolated, biased opinions.
Sure.
But if you get rid of the internet, you are dramatically weakened relative to your peers, right? I mean, you can't be as efficient.
You don't keep up. Yeah,
You don't keep up.
know shit.
Well, you're not getting the information. That's what they're saying.
Well, it's not only that, it's the work. Like the amount of work I can get done with a computer is, specifically
yeah,
with the
it's-
internet, is immense. You know what I mean?
Productivity.
Well, I mean,
is-
you're a developer. You're not really going to develop as a lumberjack, are you?
Even podcasts, though, even this, the audience that we can reach with the internet, right?
Yeah.
Like we couldn't, you know what I mean? I don't
You
know.
wouldn't have this before, yeah.
Yeah, the order of the scale that we can get to do it in a physical space requires a much bigger upfront investment. We have to get a space. We have to get people in, right? We have to. There's a much bigger barrier to entry, and even then, we have a maximum number of people that we can physically fit into the space, and that's
Yeah.
the maximum amount of money that we can get. Whereas with a podcast, you can have someone like Joe Rogan who
Yeah.
speaks to the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't do that without the internet. So it's like,
Well, radio. Right?
yeah,
Radios?
but I mean, you have the Kool-Aid killings. I mean, you still had the problem of misinformation over radio, right?
Sure.
You can.
Because someone controls it. Or you have a limited amount of radio space.
Well, you're subject to your sponsors then. Because if you are on the radio, you're going to have to need sponsors. Unless you're on like a ham radio.
Exactly. It all comes
Yeah,
down to
yeah, yeah.
advertising. It comes back to advertising.
Yeah, gotta get it monetized.
Splayed, all analog. You know?
Yeah.
Just a ham radio.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we get advertisers on the show. It's going to change everything.
Oh, we're going to.
We'll be talking about, I don't know. What are we going to talk about?
Space monkeys.
Space monkeys.
Get your latest Space Monkey.
So I want to go back to conspiracies for a moment.
Yeah.
The long and short of it is you need the way I figure it, you need a corruptible, someone to get them a visa, business or dean or something. You need a handful of youths. That's easy. Get them plane tickets. They'll come learn to fly planes and fly it into something. That's not hard to do. Box cutters are cheap, right? And then you need a guy. You need that guy.
That one individual.
You need a merc. You need someone, right? You need a little bit of physical presence. You need some muscle grease, right? You need someone who can
Sure.
find the guys in Afghanistan unless you're willing to go, right?
Yeah.
Right? You need someone who can talk to bin Laden, right? You plant the idea in his head, hook him up, right?
Yeah.
Make it think it's his idea. You need someone to do the dirty work to grease the wheels, right? You need a guy. But I don't think you need more than one, honestly. I think you need one guy.
But he would have to be within that organization too. Or in good with them at least.
Yeah, so you need one guy who's in the know. At least he knows all the pieces. He may not know the motivation, but he knows.
You have to have someone at the top, absolutely.
Well, he's the loose end then.
Yeah.
After it's done, he's got to go.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is any of these guys could be cleaned up, right? That's because the dean.
Sure, something went wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. The dean is only a liability. So, for example, the dean, like I'm using a dean because I think it's student visas. I don't know if it was student visas, but maybe it's a business organization. Whoever you get to get them visas, you get him pinned in sort of a moral, ethical dilemma where he doesn't want to talk, right?
Sure.
Because
He doesn't even know.
yeah, and he only knows so much anyway. He just knows that he took a bribe, and so. But then what you do is you plan for him to meet some, 10 years after, he gets in a car wreck, right? Whatever. You know what I mean? So he's only a liability for so long, right? You clean up. Die Hard did this, right? Die Hard 5, right? Where they're like having people. Have you seen Die Hard 5?
I don't recall that one.
Yeah. Or not 5, 4. 5 was bad. 4, not the Russian one. The one where they have the hackers.
Oh,
And you have like a higher level of hacker, and then you have these low level hackers, and there was like a tier. There was like 3 levels.
Yeah.
The lowest tier each bit off one piece of the task, and then they were killed.
well,
right.
it's the Dark Knight opening, the Joker.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Do I look like a guy that has a plan? He's just an agent of chaos.
Right.
But he thought of everything so meticulously, though. He wasn't in it for money. He just wanted to watch stuff burn.
Yeah. He was a pyro.
Yeah. So what if we get a president that's a pyro, right?
Yeah.
Just wants to burn everything down.
Well, are we all a little bit?
A little bit, but I mean,
When I was younger, playing with fire was fun.
Yeah.
just like legitimately,
I remember. Oh, I'm not going to talk about it. Nate, what was the motivation for World Trade Center?
The motivation?
Because we're talking about motivation right now. We talked about the motivation for the Joker.
Potentially, I don't know, on the conspiracy side, or I mean, if you ask,
if
you ask the official narrative,
what are the conspiracy theories around it? Sorry, let me clarify that, because obviously we have the accepted motivation, which is to bring down America, right? But if there was a higher conspiracy, from a conspiracy theory perspective, what do we think the motivations would have been?
It would be to accomplish multiple things. I would guess. I mean, like we talked about oil, I would say was your number one driving factor, which leads to money. Destabilizing the Middle East, you're causing war, death, destruction, which brings more war, death, destruction. I don't know. Stuff I've listened to, it's kind of like the New World Order thing you hear, right? Where they're trying to destabilize things and slowly usher in, the American ways, and that's establishing like a new world order in a sense.
because that's what Hydra was
You're trying to
saying.
Americanize the world, essentially. You're trying to get globalized, and so I think that's what I say. I think there's a multitude of things that you can think about on the conspiracy side of it.
When history
I
didn't
would say
comply, it was made to.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah.
So,
You mean like rewritten or
okay, in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, right?
right?
He was always sent out when things didn't go right.
Exactly.
So he either did assassinations, political assassinations, whatever. He was there to correct the way for Hydra.
Yeah.
To rule
He was
through
there to
order
direct
and
that
chaos.
narrative that, yeah.
Because in Hydra's scheme, it's like there are no prisoners. We just need to have order. Everyone's going to think the same and do as we say.
Yeah.
Right? So you think Hydra's...
Or you socially shame them, right? Or you socially shame them.
Yeah, you cancel them. Hydra's a part of the memes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was an honest, open attempt to socially shame people, right, during the the pandemic. People were censored not just by the media organizations but by their peers. Peers were being hostile on Twitter and Facebook, like very hostile. You know what I mean? I remember making some posts back in March and having people just lash out aggressively, right?
Yeah.
But there was a shaming campaign, and here's the problem with shaming information: is that what if your information is wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It
right.
doesn't matter at that point, because if the masses believe in one thing, they're going to do that.
They're gonna, yeah.
And that's the allegory of the cave, and that's the issue with conspiracy theories.
Sure.
Is that the majority of people, if you can get the majority of the people bought into a conspiracy,
Repetition, you talked about that in your last.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, They'll reinforce it. They'll reinforce it. So they will literally kill to be able to continue to believe. It's the allegory of the cave, right? They would rather kill you than have to be taken out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They will fight to the death to believe what they believe. And so if you get enough people bought into the conspiracy narrative, 9/11, they will lash out and fight to the bitter end to defend it, right? Even in the face of overwhelming logical challenges, right? Yeah. So that's the interesting thing is once you've perpetuated it, however you do that, then it's self-feeding.
You get the motion yeah.
I think you can do 9/11 with two people. Two people that are in the know, and that's why I think it validates the complexity theory. Yeah. Two people, I mean more than two, but only two people that are
actually there at the top directing it in a sense. Yeah. Right. The ones that are pulling the strings. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you have cells underneath that with various sub conspiracies.
Yeah.
And fallacies.
Yeah.
Failings.
You said it right.
Well, you just need an event that happens big enough, and then you can start making up stuff that sounds plausible to it, and then just start spreading that around, getting that out there. And as soon as you have enough people, you're not directly giving them information daily. You're just putting out a narrative.
Yeah.
And once that narrative is spread far enough, it kind of goes all over the place. Mm. I was watching this one show about it's kind of like a rumor that happened about a girl who was a model who was she got killed some mysterious way. So they made up this whole rumor about her being a ghost, and then around town this ghost manifests because people's rumors got so powerful.
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah, you made it a physical thing now.
Yeah, you brought it to fruition or whatever. Yeah.
So it's like, how powerful are rumors, right?
Mm-hmm. You can stir a whole narrative of something.
Yeah. Religion can be a whole.
Well, religion's the perfect example of it. Yeah, they're stirring a whole herd of people in a way of thinking. It's mind control essentially, right? You're directing people how they need to live and what you need to do and how you need to do it, and there's only this way to do it or else.
Yeah. Yeah. But people are going to poke holes in narratives all the time.
Exactly. I grew up strong LDS. We were really strong LDS family, but I mean now I'm more of kind of just believe in Gus, God, universe, and spirit. Yeah. Right?
I do my thing, God does his, we're going to keep going.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I still believe in that greater good, greater purpose to humanity, I guess.
The greater good.
I have faith that we can go somewhere as a humanity, maybe finally actually get away from death and war and starvation and trafficking and all that shit that's going on.
So much darkness, man.
But I have faith in humanity might one day pull through. Be united, not against one another.
I wish
we're all here together in this. We're all flying on this spaceship called Earth. We're all in the same ship, you know what I mean?
Big ass ship.
It's a big fucking ship.
We got a big ass ship.
I fucking hope so, dude. I want to be in a world where we can just dance. We can just have conversations.
Absolutely.
And, get together.
Not have to worry so much about a 9 to 5 in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, we still work, still build things.
Be productive. Absolutely.
Build what we want to build and spend time with each other. And then, importantly, the plagues of the world. You mentioned trafficking, things of that nature. I hope we can reach a world where those go away. But it's weird. It's weird because you have to balance it with freedom, right? Because obviously you can cleanse the world through control, in theory. But then you've created a prison or a hell, right? Like you create a darkness as bleak as what you have purged. Right?
You know about the songbird, stuff, right? How the man built this beautiful cage to keep the bird inside. And he's like, I want you to stay in there. I gave you everything you need. Food, water, you don't need to go out. Just stay in there. So you're always in the cage,
Yeah.
So you never get to go. Everything's provided for you. Everything's great. You don't have to worry about...
But you're still a prisoner in a little box.
You're a prisoner in paradise.
Yeah. You're still trapped by someone.
What if Adam
freedom
was like a punk rock thing?
I'd rather be starving and free, you know what I mean? Than Yeah.
Screw you, we're going to get out of the Garden of Eden. Woo!
But if you owe,
Doing donuts.
if you owe money to anybody, you're not really free.
We're slaves.
We're all slaves to money, you know.
We're slaves with extra steps.
Yeah, we talk about this in Slaves all the time.
We're free range. We're free range animals.
Yeah.
We're on a big farm.
Yeah.
You're welcome to
I like
travel
free
around
range.
and do things, but
Just don't go over
at the end of the day, you need to go
But you
make
gotta
some money
check
and
back in
pay me
here.
your land royalties or mortgage or
Yeah. Sorry, there's a whole nother layer there that we.
I know.
We
You should have highlighted conspiracies. It just gets too deep on so many levels.
Yeah.
I mean, you can spin off into a million things.
You know, we got a big drill. We're going to dig as deep as we can, right?
Yeah.
We're going for the core here.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of drills, the moon landing.
Let's do it.
It's related to drills
Let's
because
talk
it's a
moon.
tool. Yeah. They did that in the Asteroid, the Michael Bay film with the Asteroid. They drilled.
That's right.
Yeah.
Saved the planet.
Armageddon.
All right, that's the one.
Armageddon.
Was
Yeah.
it or Deep Impact?
It's the same movie.
There's
It's
a
the
lot
same movie.
actually. Yeah.
You mean the one with the asteroid?
Yeah.
The
That
one
one.
with the guy and he had the shoes?
Adam, before we continue, let's do a quick gear check before we go into moons.
Recording.
You're still recording. I'm going to restart that just to get some more footage. So the thing is, there's a law where cameras aren't allowed to run for more than 30 minutes
Okay.
or they have a tax.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's awesome.
It's conspiracy.
It's
Yeah. Another
corruption.
conspiracy.
Anyway, I'm going to drink this beer.
Do that.
Adam, do you want a beer or a water?
Yeah.
Do you have
I'll
a
have
water?
water.
Okay, let me grab your water real quick.
Here.
I'm gonna have you
No worries.
hold that. I'm just going to hit this record button. Yep, I know you stopped. I know you did. Yeah, baby.
So, Adam, what are your thoughts on the moon landing?
We went to the moon.
Huh?
Yeah, keep talking. This is good. This is good. I'll go get it.
So we went to the moon because there's proof.
Right.
We left experiments that there's mirrors you can shine lasers on and they reflect back.
Yeah.
So we've been to the moon. The whole
that's
thing
cool.
about us not going to the moon, if you dig into that conspiracy group, it's like they're not really willing to reach out and do the research.
Yeah.
They're just willing to say it's not possible because of X and Y.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a water? Let me grab,
Yeah.
grab one more.
So they'll just say, hey, we didn't go to the moon because a shadow doesn't.
Sure. Yeah. Because something doesn't line up. Something stupid yeah.
Yeah, and they're always pointing to that, and they're like, "Well, have you actually been to like the astronautical museum, or you have
Right. Right. Yeah.
No, don't need to.
I think it's fueled by the flat earthers.
That too,
I think the moon conspiracy comes from the flat Earth side of people,
because
and they're just a really uneducated group. I'm sorry.
that's it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
People.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
No.
apologize, but I think that's kind of where that came from. And so they try and prove up on certain theories or things. They try and show certain evidential things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example, I guess, but. I think it's the flat earthers. Like, there's no way we went to the moon because there's a dome and all this stuff. You know
There's
what
a
I mean?
dome.
Like,
You can't get to the
you
dome.
can't. No, we don't have spaceships. They lie. Like,
It's all a bunch of HD
but
soap
it's
there.
yeah. I mean, it's so elementary that you're like, no.
Guys, you can refute the flat earthers very simply with the n squared communication law, right?
Yeah.
The number of people that would have to be involved to perpetuate the flat earth.
The flat
Yeah.
earthers show a clip of like this supposed NASA guy, and he's like, well, we can't go to the moon anymore because we destroyed the technology we went to the moon with. It was some like stupid clip, and that's the type of stuff they're trying to use. And for all you know, he's not even a NASA guy, right? He's just some asshole talking on a mic,
We don't know credibility or anything.
Yeah, there's no credentials or credibility, and so they run with these ideas or thoughts that come up. And,
I'm not even gonna. Well, okay. At some point, we got to talk about flat Earth.
I think it ties in with the moon.
It does. Okay. All right. That's fair. I don't want to like give that because
Without
I feel
one,
like
you
that
don't have
was
the
just
other, I
so. I don't know.
Flat
'Cause you
earthers
can
use the
go-
moon big, yeah.
Fucking watch a ship on the ocean.
Yeah, you go to Cape Canaveral in Florida, and
Yeah.
It sails out, it goes down. If you know how vision works,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen unless it is actually going down. If something shrinks into the horizon, if your vision is stable and something is just moving straight in a line away from you, then it is going to shrink, but it will shrink proportionately.
Just to a small point.
But it will never shift. It will not pan or scan in your
Right.
field of view. It will stay proportionate or stay in place and shrink.
Yeah.
as your field of view expands. That is how vision works, okay?
Yeah.
And so if you understand that, then you can watch something, and if it sinks, if it goes down below the horizon before it shrinks to oblivion, then the Earth is round.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw a bunch of flat earthers like trying to prove that everything was flat by a scientific experiment that proves that everything, the Earth is round.
You've got flat earthers proving the world's round. I know.
And they kept saying, they're like, well, this isn't the result we were.
Our equipment was malfunctioning. That's not.
Yeah.
They built a special device that actually holds this down. To prove us right.
Swamp gas from Venus refracted in.
Isn't that the usual bullshit?
Yeah.
An alien standing next to him going,
that's right. Yeah, 6 foot alien right next to him.
Aliens are flat earthers.
The aliens
they're the ones peddling it. That's brilliant.
They're like,
We just broke Rusty.
my mind just exploded with joy. It was just like a boom. Because I'm laughing in my head, but I'm laughing so hard that I can't express it to you guys how hilarious that comment was. Guys, aliens just mucking with us. Like, guys, the Earth is flat.
It's totally flat.
It's
Go
totally
for
flat.
it. Let's see how many we can get on board. Ready? Worldwide social experience. Or experiment. Yeah.
It's the reptilians that can look like us, right?
the reptilian,
Yes. According to this conspiracy theories,
Fucking hey, dude. Nate knows about reptilians.
All right. You guys, have you ever heard of David Icke?
No, dude.
You're missing out, man. This guy's like
David
king of conspiracies. So his initial top of the pyramid, like we talked about earlier, it's actually he believes our world is controlled by reptilians. That's his ultimate synopsis of his conspiracy. He thinks that the reptilians are pulling the strings on all of our presidents and politicians worldwide.
They would have to control us. They would want to. Sorry.
Yeah. No, there's 4 different types. There's like the reptilian, the gray, the angelic white,
the Nordics,
the Nordic, and what was the 4th one? They're like the technological ones, right?
There's 2 types of grays,
Yeah.
Oh,
there's one type of gray that's like they're kind of just here, but they're not friendly or foe necessarily. They kind of just do what they're told. They're like servants of the reptilians.
Oh no way!
So like when you hear of objection, when you hear someone's like, oh, I got abducted by an alien, it's those grays. And then there's like a good gray that's on our side trying to progress humanity and help us get out of the nuclear war that we're in, essentially.
They're the good Skynet.
They're the good Skynet, yeah. Something like that.
You have to, if you were benevolent, even moderately benevolent as a species, if we found another species, just think about it logically, if we found another species, you can't just let them go run amok, because they could end up as an enemy, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You're going to meddle.
Yeah.
You're going to meddle, right?
Absolutely. You want to keep peace, you're going to have treaties and agreements.
Mm-hmm. You want to encourage them to be a peaceful species, and then that will be subordinate to you or peaceful or compatible with you. So you're going to mold them into that.
That's what you would want.
That's the benevolent
Otherwise, they
route.
become your enemy, and you don't want that either.
Or
you wipe them out.
Yeah.
You
wipe them out, sure, if you're not wiped out first. Independence Day,
Star Trek route is the prime directive is you don't involve yourself.
Yeah.
But you still involve yourself, You still go down there because you got to have a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you still got to film.
Yeah. Well, because you're Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what?
Prime directive. Overruled. My balls are overriding the prime directive right now.
He always is like, all right.
So your choices realistically as a mentally competent species, which you are if you can travel the stars, is wipe them out.
Yeah.
Or meddle.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to let them just run amok like the prime directive, because then you don't know, they could catch up. And if they catch up and they're not on your side, then you've created a fucking problem for yourself.
Right.
Star Trek was just like saying, screw you guys, we're just going to meddle anyway. We made this rule up, but we're not going to follow it. We're just going to screw around with you guys as civilization.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of, boils down to control. You can't control everything either, or everyone.
The Federation.
So
it's surprising how much
even if you want
though.
that piece, you may not get it.
That's true, though. But you can't control, it's like water.
Yeah, exactly.
You
can maybe guide the flow, but you can't control it.
But you can guide the flow. If you want water to go down a hill, you can't grab the water and force it.
No,
but you can carve out a pathway.
You can carve a pathway, but it
may not even flow in that path that you created. It still will wander and sway and carve its own path in a sense. It'll maybe follow what you're right? You guided it somewhere, but water, natural flow, yeah, it's gonna go where it's gonna go.
You
do your best to direct
you
it,
can
yeah.
choose a destination, but afterwards it's still going to evaporate.
You have to understand its nature, and you have to meet it where it's at, right? You have to understand that its nature is to take the easiest route, and then you have to make the easiest route your route. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the same with humanity. You have to understand humanity's nature,
Yeah.
and then you have to make it so that the path you want humanity to go is in line with their nature, right? You have to make those two things happen. So humanity's nature is to be nationalistic and pro-country. So if you can make the 9/11 conspiracy look as though it was conducted by someone else, they'll be more inclined to believe that than to believe that it was someone on their own soil.
Sure.
So you can control people. You just need to align whatever you present them with their nature.
Yeah, if you can, I mean, you guys talked about brainwashing, repetition. If you can get people on board enough by repetition of whatever, 9/11, you get that narrative out, and it's in the mass, it's going to go that direction.
Well, anger is a great tool too,
Sure.
So-
Yeah.
I could see you wanted to say something. Sorry.
I was just thinking, you were talking about water and all that, and I was thinking of Bruce Lee for a minute. Be like water,
that's
flow,
right.
and stuff like that. Then I had an image of doing the whole Bruce Lee thing by a river and a lake, flow like water, but then just laying down in the river.
Flow like water.
I am one with the universe.
Just underneath the water. Just face down.
Oh, man.
I love Bruce Lee, by the way. The 6-inch punch, man. Dude, it's all about core rotation. You know what I mean? It's all about rotational power, torque. Anyway, he's awesome, Bruce Lee. I want to hear more about the reptilians, though. You were saying that they are, because I want to hear more of this narrative.
I don't know a whole lot of it, like I said.
So
I mean, I've listened to the guy. His name was David Icke, and he talks a lot about it, I guess. But
what's the relationship? So you talked about, so there's Greys, reptilians, angelics. What's the whole like international or intergalactic? Is it galactic or universal? It's got to be galactic. They can't travel galaxy to galaxy, right? It's too far.
yeah, I don't think so.
It's got to be intergalactic.
They're all local.
They're gotta be
they're all
local.
within our own galaxy, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's trillions of planets and stars within our own galaxy, why not? Why couldn't it be possible? But to actually make contact and have it be, maybe the Earth was terraformed by them to create humanity. Maybe we were like a petri dish,
Yeah,
and humanity was an accident, maybe, and we kind of went in a direction they didn't expect, and so now they're kind of like, oh, we don't know what to do.
they screwed up.
Right? Like, let them nuke each other. Who gives a shit? Yeah, we're just a byproduct of some engineering experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We were the dump
They
planet.
took monkeys and interjected DNA in them. Shit.
We're
I
like
don't
the
know.
rest stops. They just dumped their waste.
Yeah.
And we just evolved.
Yeah, we survived out of it.
Look,
yeah.
there's this planet Earth. Nobody wants it anyway. We'll just put them there.
It's that on the outer rim.
It's got a lot of this H2O stuff that we don't like.
Evolved. Nah.
No. They'll definitely be. They'll just be nothing.
Camper home comes down.
Yep.
Hose.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we were the rest.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Do you know what the
I mean,
relationship is? So you mentioned the Greys are subordinate. One of the Greys, at least, one of the castes or subgroups of the Greys is subordinate to reptilians.
The ones you hear about in all the horror films or movies, what they're about, those are supposedly the non-emotion. What's that? What's that word? When you can't feel anything, you're numb. It's not narcissistic. It's
Not an empath, because empath feels emotions.
yeah, it's opposite of an empath. It's a psychopath, I guess. You don't feel anything.
Yeah, I guess
They're
so.
kind of like that type. They're almost like droids in a sense. They're almost like mechanical because they don't have feelings towards. So I mean, if you're being abducted for an experiment or whatever, I mean, they don't have feelings towards you as a
I wonder
living
if that would
being.
be beneficial for
I don't know.
a species. Let me get you in frame there because I'm not. I just realized that we have like your profile for the whole show.
Oh well, I look over a few times.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that would be necessary for a species to evolve. Or not, but beneficial. Just a lack of sort of emotion.
Well, and that's where humanity's leading. If we continue to follow like the Neuralink path, and we're all just going to upload our minds into a machine body, you're going to lose feeling. You're going to lose emotion. You're going to lose compassion, empathy. It's all going to go away, and you become that gray alien in a sense. become this super evolved species, but you have no moral compass necessarily.
Unless we can increase the endocrine, so unless we can augment that as well. So if we only augment the logical capabilities of the system and we don't augment the emotional capabilities of the system, then I agree.
And you're lost as a species.
Because eventually the signal, the amount of capacity of your your logical brain will overwhelm your emotional brain. And your emotional brain is still important. It's part of what human is.
I believe we have two brains. I think your heart's one of them and your mind's the other one. Because, things come from your heart, right? That's your emotions, your empathy, that's your humanity.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you're not human.
Elon Musk, please listen.
Listen here. Please listen to Splayed.
Seriously though, this one, I'm going to send this out. I'll tweet out this section. Elon Musk, please augment not only the cognitive or computational sectors of the brain.
Yeah.
Please augment the emotional sectors as well.
Exactly. You have to implement them both to be successful.
Sorry.
He doesn't have it. No, just kidding.
No,
Let's hear your thoughts. Yeah.
Well, okay, augmenting the emotional side of everything. So you build a robot that hugs,
Yeah.
and it just hugs.
That's all it does.
That's all it's programmed to.
But is it really feeling that emotion?
Is it giving?
I don't know, right?
That warmth, that emotion. It's giving you a hug.
You can get cold hugs all day long, right? If you hug someone that doesn't want to hug you, you're kind of like, it's pretty clear.
Then it's sexual harassment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I built a robot.
Guys, the beer's kicking in. The Mune landing.
The emu.
I'm a lightweight, by the way. I said one beer will wipe me the fuck out. So, Nate knows this. Adam knows this.
Yeah.
Adam.
Emus.
Emus.
Emus on the
Koalas.
moon.
I love koalas. Dude, I saw it too. I saw a koala give another koala like a bro hug.
Yeah?
And I was just like, fucking A.
Look at that.
The universe needs to see this.
They're going to survive.
If they're going to survive, yeah.
Yeah.
The moon landing, I don't think you can perpetuate the Jesus Christ. It's like drunk history now on Splayed.
And the man.
And the man, he gone.
I like the one where they're talking about the history of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Dog starts barking at the bartender.
Yeah. I fucking love that show. Have you seen Drunk History?
No, I need to.
Okay, but Aubrey Plav. You know what I'm talking about.
Excellent. Yes. Let's do this.
Oh man, she's super awkward. She's like she gets on show hosts.
Co-hosts? Co-host a show?
More beer.
Host a show. Show's a host.
I'm a fan of the show.
All right, good.
Saturday Night Live.
I am spent, motherfuckers.
Now there's conspiracy talk.
We should do this show drunk more often. Okay, wait. The moon.
Okay,
the moon
go.
landing.
I'm listening.
The moon. I'm going to try and say my words really carefully.
Yes. Okay.
I
Yes,
don't-
take a breath. There it is.
I'm going to reach deep into the depths of my mind and make manifest the ideas of my soul.
Beautiful.
Splayed.
Splayed. Welcome to Splayed.
Welcome to Splayed. Can we cheers?
I'm out of beer. Here
Fuck.
you go.
Can I get you another beer? Should I get you another beer?
No.
You gotta
we're
drive, right? You gotta
Yeah,
drive.
exactly.
Okay. The loon. The lunar landings. The moon landings.
Yes.
Here's the thought. You have to deal with radio antennas.
Sure.
You have to actually have a rocket launch because people are there to watch it, and the astronauts have to get into the rocket or stunt doubles, something.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like there's a and then you have to have all the machines at NASA get different data because you got like two dozen engineers at NASA looking at screens. So either they're involved, but again that gets into the complexity law. So I'm trying to reduce the complexity. I'm trying to think if there's a way to get the NASA moon landing down to less than 10 knowing individuals, because that I believe is the key. That's the Goldilocks zone. If you can get down to less people If you can get less than 10
Yeah.
people involved in the conspiracy.
Sure. I don't know. That's a good question.
24 people, 34 people,
34.
however many are in Houston, right? They're looking at computers, and those computers have to line up with what you're saying, or they're going to talk.
Maybe maybe a majority of them are watching or looking at the same data, and so it's kind of like a cross-reference or double insurance kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 10 guys looking at this piece of the launch,
Yeah.
you have maybe you can get some more accuracy that way.
There's probably some of
because
that.
there's a lot of data analyzing, I would say, in that
Yeah.
scenario. So
So-
that might be a little different than what you're saying with the organizing a conspiracy or whatever.
How
That-
many
that
data
just
feeds
takes- that
do
just
you
takes
have?
thought.
Do you have to fake? Because here's the issue with radio Jesus. Towers with radio telescopes. That's the word.
There you go.
I can't speak, you guys. With radio telescopes, right? You can see the space landing, the spaceship.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's like having eyes in space.
You can see the
I'm trying really hard.
space station go over by at night if
Exactly.
you know the timing. I mean,
Yes. So if you have a radio receiver, you can actually see the signals from the space station, and importantly, those are directional. You can't fake it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And so it's going to be wherever, like following the moon. You know,
Sure.
and more so the closer the spaceship gets to the moon. So that's going to be really fucking difficult because you can't fly a spaceship around that fast to like trace the moon around the globe. In other words, you're going to have to actually send something to the moon to fake the radio signal. So either you're going to hack everybody's radio signal, which is before the internet, by the way, which means that these
Sure.
are analog radios,
Yeah.
which means that you have to actually go to physically on site and break their radio signals such that if they look at a specific point in the sky, it produces a blip, right? Or you have to take everyone who has a radio signal and silence them somehow
get them to
Yeah. I mean, maybe a lot of them you can just be like, just ignore them. You can just. Here's the thing about a conspiracy. You've seen Westworld.
Oh, sure, yeah.
This doesn't look like anything to me. There's a certain amount, it's the allegory of the cave again. There's a certain
Yeah.
amount where the brain will naturally disbelieve something. So 9/11, for example, we were talking about squibs. We were talking about if it was demolished, there was this show saying if it was demolished, you would have fuses lying around.
Yeah, you would have
a
the
mess of-
residue from the bombs or
from the
whatever.
bombs.
I mean, yeah.
But if you're not looking for it,
yeah,
or more importantly, if you don't believe you're in the cave, you're looking at the shadows, you don't believe it can possibly exist, you're going to pick it up and be like, this doesn't look like anything to me, right?
sure.
Throw it
So
out.
Toss that mother away.
Right? Like it doesn't make sense. Why would this be here? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't put enough it can't be possible. You reject it
Yeah.
because you don't want to believe it, right?
Yeah.
And so that could be true. Like people could have not found the spaceship
Sure.
and just been like, well, I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So I guess there's that.
Yeah. But I mean, how many people witnessed
The launch.
the launch?
The launch
I mean,
has to happen.
How do you fool? Yeah. How do you fool that though?
The launch has to happen, but do you have to actually go to the moon? I
Right.
think
Could you
have
go
to-
high enough and just disappear
Right.
out of view? Maybe. I
There's
guess.
3 dead astronauts up there that never came back.
Right.
Excuse me.
Well, what was Challenger 11 or 7? What the hell was it
Not
that
sure.
blew up and
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
like
yeah.
10 of them that all died?
So, I don't know, but it's much harder for me, in my mind, it's much harder to orchestrate the moon landing hoax than it would
Yeah.
as a hoax
Yeah.
than 9/11. I think 9/11, like I said, you can do with 2 funded, well-funded, educated people.
Yeah. On the conspiracy side, the movie producer Steven Kubrick or something, I think is his name.
Okay.
He supposedly filmed the moon landing. Like, I think again the flat earthers kind of point to him like it was filmed in a studio and they just broadcasted to people's TVs from a studio, a quote unquote landing. It was just a setup scene, you know. But then that's I say, how do you fake the rocket launching?
Yeah. The launch has to happen.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, is you do in science and in any profession, you know this. I talked about this last week. You have your 10% or so of competent people.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you have so in any class, science or otherwise, you're gonna have 10% who know what they're doing,
They actually know what they're doing.
yeah, and 90% that are just fucking monkeys
Making
right?
it work.
Yeah, and so the problem is if your 90% has been giving marching orders from maybe one or two people out of the 10%, right? For corrupt reasons or just biases or whatever, then you're gonna have that. You're gonna have a sampling where like 90% of the data that you're seeing
Yeah.
is actually inaccurate, and the 8% or whatever of the data is actually correct, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that can happen. Is what I'm saying. That's why we have MongoDB.
We have what now?
I want to smile at the camera. Any of my engineers out there?
You have to explain a little bit. Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry. We have to come to a close. I think we're in a good spot right now. I want to keep going.
Sounds good.
But I think we're out of time.
Alright.
Any other thoughts, Nate?
No, man, that was good. Good show. That was fun.
Is anything, because I know I talked a lot during the show, so I want to give you a couple minutes to talk about some shit. Anything,
I got nothing else to say, man.
nothing else to say, man?
No, I think we're okay. I feel like we all got our 2 cents in.
Okay. Guests, I mean audience.
Guests! This guy!
Esteemed guests. We're going to hopefully have some more chill-ass guests like Nate here on the show. Hopefully, Nate, we can get you back. Maybe we can do a part 2 on this
I'd
episode.
love to. That'd be great.
It was fucking chill of you to come out, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam, as always, fucking up the show.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm here.
Talk too damn much.
Oh, man.
Get paid?
Yeah, wait.
Paid? We don't make money yet. Anyway, audience, have a chill ass fucking week. Smash that like button if you've got it. Hit subscribe. Hit us up on Facebook. Hit us up on YouTube. Hit us up on SoundCloud, Stitcher, podcast
Hell yeah.
places, Spotify. Don't listen to Joe Rogan.
Who needs Joe?
You
we
got
got
us.
Rusty.
He's got flip side.
yeah. We have guests like Nate.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. Hell yeah.